Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. Going to read through the majority of the article here. There's a link in the description. I need to give you a trigger warning. This is a very gruesome murder. This is about a very gruesome murder. If you appreciate the coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. You won't be surprised to learn that the scumbag that you see in front of you, Michael Dougherty, is the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator. He's facing a second-degree murder charge in relation to the murder of 56-year-old Lisa Ann Rogers. She was pronounced dead on Saturday at around 11 p.m. But the attack that took her life occurred Tuesday morning at her own home in St. Petersburg in Florida. She has a house, a home, with her husband, and she allowed this guy, this murderer, Michael Dougherty, to stay with them because he had lost his job. He was on the verge of being homeless. So the victim, Lisa Ann Rogers, did what she does, which is show another human being empathy and generosity. Her family have stated that the victim, Lisa Ann Rogers, will help anybody. She'll give you anything you want. So they let her and her husband let Michael Dougherty stay at their home with them because he lost his job. He was hard done by. They gave him a break. They gave him an opportunity. How did he repay them? By murdering Lisa Ann Rogers, allegedly. So what we know is that on Tuesday around 10:36 p.m., deputies arrived at their home in question in St. Petersburg, Florida. They found a 56-year-old female, Lisa Ann Rogers, with a hatchet protruding from her head. A hatchet protruding from her head. She was transported to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. The scumbag suspect, Michael Dougherty, fled the scene. Thankfully, he was caught on Thursday. A couple of days later, he was caught and he's in custody. Deputies located a 56-year-old female with a hatchet protruding from her head. She was taken to hospital. The family, or parts of the family, had already made the decision prior to her death to turn off Lisa's life support machine. The reasoning for that is because doctors had informed the family that Lisa had no brain waves, and as such, if she were to survive, she would have no quality of life. With that, parts of the family, at least, I'm not sure if it was a consensus agreement, but they had already come to the conclusion, if that's the right word, it's probably a better word, to the decision. They'd settled on the fact that it would be better to let Lisa go by turning off her life support machine. However, they didn't have to go ahead with that decision, as she did in fact pass on Saturday. As I say, the scumbag Michael Dougherty, the guy that Lisa and her husband were allowing stay in their home, he fled the scene, but he was found on Thursday, very early Thursday morning. The article tells us that he's been locked up in a local jail. The initial charge was attempted second-degree murder. That has now been upgraded to second-degree murder. And we don't have any motive. We don't know what brought this guy to murder the very person that was giving him a lifeline. This guy had lost his job. He's not the only one. There's a lot of people out there across the world that have lost their job, that are in financial jeopardy. He's not the only one. And what do I mean by that? I mean, Well, part of what I mean is there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. It's something which many of us are at risk of being in that situation, losing a job, not being able to pay the bills. It's a precarious situation for huge swathes of Western population in America, in England, in Australia, across Europe. The economies are not looking good. This guy lost his job. The victim, Lisa Ann Rogers, as well as her husband, gave this guy a break, gave this guy a lifeline, because that is what she does. She helps people. And this guy, for whatever reason, there is no motive known, killed her. We don't know the full details of the attack. What we do know is that she was found by deputies with a hatchet sticking out of her skull. We don't know if it was just the one blow or if there was a full-on attack. We don't know. I guess in a way it's kind of by the by. This guy is a murderer by all accounts. That is my estimation. That is my speculation. Of course, he needs to have his day in court. He needs to have a trial. But in my estimation, based on the info here, that would be what I would consider to be the situation, that this guy is a murderer, in my opinion. And with that, he deserves absolute justice. This happened in Florida. I do forget, but I am quite sure that there's the death penalty in Florida. If so, lock it in. Florida, why would you want this guy around? Why does this guy deserve to be a part of society? He's checked out from society. He's transgressed too much, if indeed he is guilty. And with that, he signs his own death warrant, in my opinion. Give him the death penalty. Get it over and done with. At the very, very least, life in prison. He's taken a life. He ought to lose his. If that's not going to happen, he needs to suffer for a very long time. Society needs to be comforted knowing that those that transgress in these hideous ways suffer. Full condolences to the family. The husband, who also let this scumbag stay with them. So he was also acting out of generosity. There's a couple of quotes from the victim's elder sister, who very much loves Lisa, of course. I'm sure there's other family, perhaps children. So full condolences all around. It's absolutely hideous. I hope this guy gets exactly what he deserves. I'm going to wrap things up. Take care.